I think we have all been there when you let the printer do its job, but instead of the print, it prepares you dinner in the form of spaghetti. And when I started 3D printing, I wish that someone had told me how to solve this and why does it happen. So no extra talking, I'm going to show you exactly why it happens and what we can do to prevent it. Because the printer doesn't know that it's printing spaghetti if you don't consider the new AI detection. So it thinks that it's printing the thing that it's supposed to, but because the thing under it already isn't in the state that it should be in, it is printing completely off the model. It's as if you were to try to build a house without a solid base. So of course you're going to be placing the next bricks completely into the air, and that's exactly what the printer is doing. And so the first cause of this is bad adhesion. And if your print plate is dirty, of course it won't stick, because nobody builds a stable house on an uneven surface. And so the easiest fix to do is to use dish soap. Just make sure that the soap doesn't have any moisturizers, because that could damage the plate. For example, like the European Yar or the American Dawn. I think everyone has at least one of these at home. Then on the second level, which not all of you might have at home, is called isopropyl, which is an alcohol that you can clean the print bed with. It's quite cheap and it works just perfect. And the most important part is to stop touching the print plate with your hands, because we have oils on our fingers that would then make the prints not stick. And if you want, I made a model that is uploaded on my Creality cloud that is super satisfying, and it cleans your print bed completely. The link to it should be in the description. The second fix why the printer is printing into the air is because it doesn't know where the print plate even is. And to solve this, we actually calibrate it. To calibrate it, most of the 3D printers today have an automatic calibration, which is just amazing. I remember my old days where we had to do it manually with a paper, but today these machines are completely able to do it all by themselves. So just always make sure that before starting the print, it offers you to automatically calibrate or level. So always make sure to tick that. And now that's the fast calibration that happens before every print. But if you want actually something solid, quite often you can find it somewhere in the display by clicking on calibration, and there you have auto leveling. So just run that and it should be fine. And if you have this problem and you want to skip checking if you have it calibrated, you can just always print the calibration cube, which even shows you if your printer is calibrated. So if the calibration cube prints perfectly, you shouldn't be considering this as a problem. And either you can add the calibration cube from the primitives, or you can check the description where I will link a model to a calibration cube. And these are all amazing, but they do take quite some time. So to completely solve this inside of the slicer, we can actually improve the bed adhesion over there. There are many ways to do it, but to not overcomplicate it, the main 3 ways that I would recommend is to 1. Decrease the speed of the first few layers so that it actually has time to stick to the print bed. Then the second one is to increase the temperature of the print bed so that the filament that is on the print bed is actually melted constantly and is, let's say, at a more liquid state. I made a free cheat sheet of the temperatures and the best hardware for the bed adhesion, so go check it out. It should be the first link in the description and it will be sent to you automatically. And the third one is that you should increase the layer width of the first few layers, because that will just give it more surface to touch with the print bed, and because of that it will stick better. And even if all of these methods failed, there are 3 things that you can still do to make sure that it completely sticks to the bed. First one is adhesives, where you can use a 3D printing glue to put it on the surface for the print to stick better. But I would highly recommend even more, and you might have it at home much more likely than the glue, is to use hairspray. Hairspray is amazing for making things stuck to the bed, and I know this because when I started 3D printing, I tried printing polycarbonate, but my bed temperature could only go to 90 degrees, but polycarbonate requires at least 100 to be able to stick to the bed. So I had to figure out a way how to make it stick. And the only thing that ever solved it was actually hairspray. So hairspray is amazing if you are printing a bit more complicated materials. And the next one that we all know but is a bit more annoying to use is brims. And I would not recommend using the normal brims, but using the pretty new brim type, which is called mouse ear, which only puts a part of the brim in the corners that it's necessary to put it to, which not only is a lot easier to take down, but it doesn't leave those weird corners all around the whole print, so it even makes the print look a bit better and still makes it stick to the bed. And the biggest one that I see all people make a mistake in is the print orientation and not enough surface that is touching with the print bed. Quite often you download a file from the internet or you make AI generated and then you put it in the slicer and you think you can just hit print, but it isn't true at all. Because you need to see if the bottom of the model has enough surface to be touching with the print bed to be able to stick to it. Because if there isn't enough surface or the surface is round, it will never stick. The easy fix completely inside of your slicer is that you can use the tool called cut that you take and you just move it completely neatly to the bottom of the print so that you will just cut out the small first layer. And once you do that, you will give it a lot more flat surface to be touching with the print bed. And if you are still unsure if you are supposed to cut it, you can always click the auto orient from the menu that will show you how it should be oriented and how it will be printed the best. And so from now on, your printer shouldn't be making you any spaghetti. All the links mentioned should be in the description. And this is something that I was just designing, which is a 14-day pill dispenser that I was working on with a mechanism that dispenses your pills. You can put it onto a fridge because it has magnets in the bottom. And I think it's quite nice because it always makes sure that I get my vitamins in. And if you would like to make it yourself, it should also be in the description below.